Hello and welcome to luxurytolast.com. Today we're reviewing the incredible watch collection of disgraced financier Bernard Madoff. Now, Bernard Madoff is the very famous Wall Street guy who's currently in prison. He was convicted of masterminding one of the world's biggest investment scams. Basically, it was a Ponzi scam, and he basically lived the billionaire lifestyle, and instead of investing money that was entrusted to him, he sort of used it to provide a luxury lifestyle for himself and his family. And I don't have any real hatred to the guy. To be honest with you, I kind of in some ways there you've got to admire the guy for having the balls to do it. I mean, most people wouldn't have the balls to carry this out, but I'm not here to judge his morals or his scruples. I'm here to assess his watch collection because his watches have recently been sold, and I think it's going to make an excellent commentary on the person himself there. And I must say, I'm really fascinated because a couple of the watches that he had in his collection, I've had the same model, and it just goes to show you that you don't have to be a billionaire to have the same tastes. So let's just start. The first piece is a Rolex Vintage Oyster Perpetual, and it's basically a vintage chronograph there, and it's called the Mono Bloco, and it basically, this piece here, it's a coveted prisoner's watch, was originally sold by Rolex direct to Allied prisoners in German prisoner of war camps, and this is a very, very rare Rolex there itself there, and it's certainly a great piece to have there if you did have such a piece like that there. So that's the first piece. The next piece we're going to look at that he had was a 18 carat rose gold Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso Duo. Now this is a very interesting piece here, beautiful piece. I must say the Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso is a great watch, and that model is not a bad model as well. It's an iconic, classic piece there. You can't criticize that at all. The next piece he had was an Iwc Portuguese. Now, this is just one of the all-time classic chronograph pieces to have there. Absolutely beautiful, silver dial with rose gold markers. Certainly a beautiful piece that anyone would be proud to have there. The next piece that he has in his range there is a Rolex shock resistant vintage watch. Now the interesting thing about this here is the lugs on the case there, just absolutely beautiful, and I think it's a redial, but it's certainly a beautiful little dress watch there that he's got there. The next piece that he's got in his collection is one of my all-time favorites. It's the Rolex Explorer 1, and looking from the photo I can see it's a sapphire version. It'd be a 14270, and this is the later incarnation of the classic Explorer 1 1016. This is the sapphire version, which is not as desirable, but a beautiful piece indeed, and I think one of the most just simple and classic gentleman's watch. Interestingly enough, Ian Fleming had a 1016 Explorer 1, and this is basically the modern version of that there. The next piece that he had is a Rolex 1930s vintage rectangular watch. Now it looks very similar to a Prince. It's not a Prince, but it's got the sub-second at the 6, and it's a nice classic vintage little watch there. He had some Swatch watches, but I'm not even going to bother to show those. I think they were just there for a bit of a joke in his collection. The next piece he had was an Audemars Piaget, and it's Audemars Piaget. You certainly could not criticize at all. That's one of the best houses in watches, and it's a chronograph. Gorgeous piece. You can't criticize the man for that. The next piece in his range is an all-time classic. It's a 1960s Rolex Submariner. Now, looking at it, I'd say the photo doesn't show you the sides, but I'd say it's a 5513, no date sub, classic Submariner, beautiful piece. You certainly couldn't criticize that at all. That's a great piece to have there. The next piece in his range there is a 1921 little Rolex silver case with a porcelain dial. Yeah, that's nothing special. Nothing that I really is my cup of tea, but yeah, fair enough there. That's okay piece to have in the collection. Next piece is another 1930s Rolex with an alligator strap. Again, very similar to a Prince, but I don't believe it is a Prince. And yeah, that's okay. That's I don't know why he's got two in his collection, but they're fair enough. They're okay piece to have there. The next piece he's got is a stainless steel Bulgari. That's the very famous model Bulgari. And it's a quartz piece. Yeah, it's a fashion piece. Yeah. I could certainly. That's a nice Bulgari. One of my favourites is the Bulgari with the beautiful dial there. The next piece in his range is a 1935 Rolex Oyster with gold dial, and it is a restoration, professional restoration on the dial. That's going to kill the value, but very rare piece indeed. You certainly can't go wrong with that piece there. That's just a beautiful rare thing to have. The next piece is 1966 Oyster Perpetual. Now all these descriptions I'm reading from a newspaper article, and I've got a picture with each piece, and it's a day-date president, so it's an 18 karat gold. I'd say to be an 1803. It looks like the dial's not original. That dial there I don't think was right for that model, but I've never really liked the dial with the big Romans on it there, but yeah, they're not a bad watch, and it's an 1803. They're a good thing to have there. Nothing bad about that. Next one in his collection is a Hublot. Oh, these are a piece of shit, really. Just a quartz chronograph. Nothing special with that. That's for sure. Next piece, he's got an Audemars Piaget Millenary. Wow, that's just an all-time classic AP. Great piece, really. Nice watch there. I noticed it came with an extra strap, which is always handy there. I kind of like the chocolate strap there. Okay, next piece in the collection was a 1946 Rolex bubble back with rose gold dial. That's just beautiful Art Deco style at its best there. I think it's just cute. Bubble backs are a great piece. They're certainly good buying. They're a bit undervalued, and if it's an original dial, that'd be fantastic. That there. The next piece he's got is a Frank Muller, a steel Frank Muller. It's a Casablanca. Yeah, that's not a bad watch to have there. I think Frank Muller is a good brand. Frank Muller's very good. The next one he's got is a Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Geographic. Jaeger-LeCoultre is a classic. With the Reverso, the Master Geographic's a great piece. I certainly couldn't criticize that. Beautiful piece. Lovely watch. Classy. The next piece in the range is a Rolex Explorer 2 black dial. This is a sapphire piece. Yep. I certainly I've had a few Explorer 2s myself. Beautiful piece, and I could certainly see how a billionaire would have an Explorer 2. They're a great piece there. Just an all-time beautiful Rolex without being over the top. It's not two-tone, it's just steel, just very, very classy, and it's got that second time zone. The next piece in his collection here is a ladies steel. I've never heard of this brand before. Poime, which is just I think a nothing ship sort of watch there he's got. The next piece in his range, moving along, is a 1936 vintage Rolex. It's a geez, he's got some bloody rare stuff. I mean, it's a restoration done professionally, but that's a rare bloody piece. That, I mean, Jesus Christ, that'd be a very, very desirable piece. That there. The next piece in his range, here we're talking, 18 karat white gold, Patek Phillipe annual calendar. Jesus, that's it's one of my holy grail pieces there. Geez, that's just a gorgeous Patek Phillipe. You could certainly I'd adore to have an annual calendar. That's just amazing. It's an amazing piece of work that there. The funny thing is with his collection is moving it right along there. The next piece is a Cartier steel Cougar, and the Cougars, they're sort of the round version of the Cartier Panther. Unfortunately, they've become a bit of a nothing watch now. Because they only ever came out in quartz, and quartz is really not the flavour of the month. Look, I can understand. A couple of years back, I've had a few Cougars and a few Panthers, and they've sort of died out a bit there. Next piece, a Blancpain Liman flyback. Well, look, Blancpain is a great name. That's a great chronograph he's got there. Nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful piece to have in the collection there. Moving along, 1942 vintage Rolex 18K anti-magnetic. Again, it's a restoration. When I say restoration, we're talking about the dial. Beautiful piece. Beautiful lugs on the case. Just a beautiful piece there. It's a shame it's a restoration, but that's still a gorgeous piece to behold there. Next piece is another Blancpain. Actually, I think they might have doubled up on that one, so just ignore that. Next piece is a Forties Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust. I think they might have got that one wrong. It just looks like a standard 1601 Datejust, to be completely honest with you there. I think they might have stuffed that description up. It just looks like a Datejust. The earlier one, the dial on it's certainly not the original dial, and the hands aren't right. If it's one of the first series there, no, that's not the first series. That's a 1601 Datejust. Nice piece. Nothing wrong with a 1601. They're a great piece. Okay, moving along, Cartier, and we're talking Cartier steel basculant. Well, that's a great piece. Mechanical. They're a nice. I've had a Cartier steel, just exactly that same model actually. They're a great piece. It's Cartier's version of the Gaelic Reverso, and don't think it quite does it as elegantly as the Cartier. So sorry, it doesn't do it as elegantly as the Gaelic Ultra, but it's a good piece. When as soon as I looked for his collection, I thought, I've had that, and they're not a bad piece. The basculant, very classic piece. Okay, moving along there, and he's got a ladies' watch. This looks like a Cartier tank, but it's actually a ladies' 18 karat gold Boucher Girard tank. And the comment there is a true bargain for a female bidder, as the manufacturer is only known to the cognoscenti, it means enthusiast. I haven't seen too many of them. I don't think they're that desirable, to be completely frank with you there. Moving along, he's got an IWC Mark 15 Gents stainless steel watch. Yeah, that's great. It's automatic. That's a nice piece. You can't go wrong with that. That's just a. It's sort of like the. Actually, it's not as good as an Explorer. It's just a nice IWC. The next piece he's got in his collection here is a Patek Phillipe. Now it says here highly covetable in platinum. It doesn't actually mention how old this one is. I don't think, looking at the hands of it, I don't think it's a first series. I think it's a more later one. So I think they've sort of stuffed up their description there. It says Gents 950 Patek Phillipe. Well, the 950 is the hallmark for platinum. That's just a nice Calatrava he's got there. No problems with that. The next piece in the range, moving along, is a Rolex Oyster Perpetual rose gold bezel, and it's another chronograph. Unfortunately, it's a restoration. The dial's been redone, but it's still a lovely Rolex there. Very rare, those early chronographs. Okay, moving along there. Now we've got a Cartier. This is a Cartier Tank Americana. This is a fantastic. It's an 18 carat. It's the large size. That's good. That's a nice piece. That. Now that they've kind of they've made a bit of a smart-ass remark that said again with quartz. Now it's a moon phase version. That moon phase version, I believe, only came as a quartz. I think it's the same movement they used in the Santos moon phase. Look, it's very easy to lay in judgment, say what the hell did he buy quartz for? But going back 20 years ago, quartz was the rage. So you can't be too hard on the man for that. Okay, moving along. Next piece is a Jaeger Ultra, and it's stainless steel. And it's a quartz. I've actually had one of these. Yeah, I agree. Why did he get the quartz? Again, quartz wasn't so terminal going back then. Next piece, we've got a Piaget. It's a chronograph, automatic. I've never been that big a fan of that brand, I must say. But yeah, it's okay. You'd kind of it was probably given to him. Next brand we've got is a Ulysse Nardin San Marco GMT. Yeah, I've never been a huge Ulysse Nardin fan. I had one many years ago. Lost money on it, or broke even. I can't remember, but yeah, that's okay. You'd have one of those in your collection. Next piece, Audemars Piaget with silver dial and brown alligator strap. AP. How could you go wrong with an AP? Beautiful piece indeed there. Moving along, we've got a Cartier 18 karat gold Tank Francais, and it's actually the chronograph. Now, I think this one here, it's an interesting watch. It's a quartz watch, but it's a Mecca quartz, and what that means is the chronograph function is actually mechanical, but the actual the movement on the watch itself is quartz. So it's sort of got two. It wasn't really a concept that I thought. Certainly not desirable now. I suppose it's better than a full quartz one, but it is what it is. And last piece in the collection is a large Hublot Classique. These are a shit nothing brand really. Just a steal. That brand itself is really a nothing brand. So there you have it. That is Bernard Madoff's watch collection, and one of the richest men in the world at one stage. And unfortunately, well, depending on your opinion, he's in prison at the moment for fraud and embezzlement and other nasty things like that. But his collection, well, it's certainly an interesting thing there, and I suppose he never had pressure to sell pieces to buy the new pieces, and that's why he's got so many there. I must admit, I've conveniently gotten out of a lot of pieces which were embarrassments, but it looks like he didn't quite do that. But an interesting collection. There's some good classic. I must say, it's a bit of a shame. Many of the vintage Rolex chronographs were restoration dials, and the sad thing is that in the early 80s and late 70s, it was probably, that was the thing to do. You'd get the dial restored. So that's really unfortunately killed a lot of value there. He had some really nice classics. I'd have to say the Explorer 1 and Explorer 2. They're two very usable watches. The beautiful IWC Portuguese. It's a great piece. I did like the Reverso in 18 Karat. That's a classy piece. 5513 sub. That's a good piece. The Pateks. He had two Pateks. They're gorgeous. Even the Frank Muller is nice. I don't mind the Frank Muller. It's interesting to see he's got a few dogs. He had the Cartier Cougar, and he had a few. He had some swatches and some other crap there too. So it's not only normal people who have rubbish in their collection, but yeah. At the end of the day, I'd say there's certainly some beautiful pieces there, and that's how a collection looks when you've got unlimited money. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to come to my free information website, www.luxurytolast.com, and please don't forget to post a comment. Thank you.